Hi, good evening. Welcome to Sports Today. You're live with me, Rajashri Gupta. A completely dominant day for England there. Of course, there was a bit of a collapse, but they have now mustered enough on the board to really start feeling very safe in this test match here. India were bowled out for 78 on day one. England have gone to stumps at 423 for 8 with a lead of 345 runs. Joe Root, another 100 for him, third successive 100 of the series. He's just been in phenomenal form. His eighth against India, the 23rd Test match 100 of his career. He was phenomenal. Of course, that was after Rory Burns and Haseeb Hameed had gotten the team off to a great start, but both the openers they could not quite convert their half centuries. Rory Burns was the first to go for 61, Haseeb Hameed 68. But besides the runs from Haseeb Hameed, England would also be pleased with how David Malan batted after he made a return to Test cricket. He got 70 there for 128 balls and was involved in this crucial partnership with Joe Root. Fantastic day's cricket for England. Joe Root, another scintillating 100, 121 of only 165 balls. So he went along at a very good pace, started with 14 boundaries. After after that partnership, there was a bit of collapse. Johnny Bairstow got some runs, 29. He got a start, but England lost a few wickets there towards the end. But by then, the damage had already been done. They inflicted a lot of damage. Remember, of course, there was this big partnership between David Malan and Joe Root. Then once there was there's this other partnership which developed between Johnny Pesto and Joe Root as well. But from 3 for 350, there was a bit of a stumble. Johnny Pesto, Josh Butler, Joe Root, Moeen Ali, they lost some wickets in succession. Sam Curran, of course, then trying to stitch something up with Craig Overton. Um, they lost Sam Curran there towards the fag end of the day. And Craig Overton now batting on 24, unbeaten on 24 alongside Ollie Robinson. Craig Overton, of course, it's been a good test match for him as well. Wickets with the ball, and now getting some runs as well. And these are crucial runs from here on. These are very, very crucial runs. It's already a 345 run lead. England would ideally want to now push this closer to 400. That would really, I mean, they're already dictating terms in this test match, aren't they? Just been brilliant throughout. Like I said, there were those four or five quick wickets that they lost in the middle. There was a bit of collapse, but nothing that would worry England at all. They'd be again for the second consecutive night at Headingley. They'd be the happier team. They'd be the team which will definitely sleep better. A lot of questions again around, can India bounce back in this test match? Can they win from here on? Well, lot of cricket left from here on. If England get bowled out early tomorrow, can India keep that lead to 400? They have to bat. India have to bat phenomenally well in the second innings. They have to really pull out a rabbit of the hat now from here on. Can Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane, can all these guys get some runs and put the pressure back on England? If they do, England have to bat at on the final day on day five pitch, and this pitch might just offer something. There's no off spinner on this team. There's no rush spinner Ravindra Jadeja. The two wickets that he got off Haseem Hameed and Moeen Ali. In fact, that wicket of Moeen Ali, he's just got that in delivered. He just tumbled up in the rough. Anything can happen, right? So for that to happen, you'd want those runs. You'd want those runs from Indian batsmen. Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, can they bat out for 2 days and put some pressure? Put some pressure. Lead is 345. Again, just going only by just going only mathematically, theoretically. The lead is for 345. Let's say India are able to wrap this up in the next 30. After England score another 30 runs with the last two wickets, 370. Can India get to 500, 520, 530? Maybe keep give England a bit of a target there, 130, 140, 150 on the final day pitch. You never know what happens. But that is a massively tall mountain to climb, massively tall mountain to climb. This pitch though hasn't shown a lot of demons. These conditions have been pretty good for run making. But yes, India had to survive the most difficult phase after they won the toss and elected to bat. They could not do that, and here they are, 345 runs adrift on at stumps on day two. That's not a position they would have wanted to be under any circumstances. Quickly take a couple of comments. Cricket talk with PY. Why is India not going with Shardul instead of Ishant? Ishant is unfit. You might see a couple of changes for the fourth Test match, but You might just get Shardul Thakur in there. Is there still a case for Ashwin to come into this team? Could he have done? Could he have worked wonders with the ball in this innings in particular? Could he have got more wickets? Well, those questions will be answered in probably the next test match. You'll see that. What explains Suri S is asking what explains this massive deviation from processes? Is the team not looking at data analytics? A sports psychiatrist must also travel with the team. What is your assessment of the pitch map of India versus England versus India? Yes, couple of very good points there, Suri. India did not land them up well at all, and in fact, if you look at the way they bowled yesterday, they were erratic. They were definitely erratic. Could they have pitched fuller? You saw James Anderson. You saw the England paces. They definitely bowled that their lengths were definitely fuller than you've seen in the previous two test matches, and that is probably what you needed to do. You needed to use those drives. Could India do them enough? I thought they bowled a little too wide. Yesterday, they gave away too many freebies to the openers. Also, there was nothing much in the conditions. Remember, when you're talking of length, when you're talking of these conditions, you have to remember that India had the worst of the conditions, but that was their own choosing. They chose to bat after winning the toss at Headingley. Joe Root had wasn't two minds over whether he would have batted or bowled, and history goes on to suggest that the team always endures the worst with the batting phase in the first couple of sessions in Headingley, and then conditions get marginally better, and then they get gradually better for batting. Yes, they should have bowled fuller. They should have looked to induce those drives. They were unable to do it. But again, you look at a few of those dismissals with the way Jadeja got Haseem Hamid. I think the way Bumrah got rid of Joe Root was a teller. Why that didn't happen? Well, that is why you need to be consistently doing well at every session in a test match to keep that momentum going. It was, if you remember the way he got Joe Root out, Suri, that was full. It was pitched just outside off stump, and he went for that cover drive and left a massive gap between bat and pad. And if you look back at the dismissal, a lot of those Indian dismissals also came the same way, looking to drive fuller lengths and nicking to either Josh Butler, the wicketkeeper, or to the slip cordon. Fantastic slip cordon for England as well. Are they not looking at data? Well, again, I think I get your second part of the question that the assessment of the pitch map, how the Indians landed those deliveries. Could they have bowled a lot fuller throughout the innings? Did they also misjudge the conditions? But the Indian team, like every other professional cricket team in the world, they also look a lot at data. They look at what has to be done. It is sometimes about execution. Your execution does not come off every time. And also, even if you're looking at data and if you're looking at what lens to bowl, you also need some help with the conditions. And frankly speaking, conditions have been very, very good for batting. Really good for batting. It's the same bowling lineup. Ishant looked a little jaded, but Siraj and Shami especially. I thought Shami was just superb throughout the day, and he toiled away manfully. Just did a brilliant job with the ball, and he laid down the marker for what the rest of the Indian pieces should have done probably through the course of the day. Well, then that's the update then from Headingley at Stumps on day two. England are 345 runs ahead after India were bowled out for 78 on the first day. At Stumps on day two, then England 423 for 8. Joe Root 121, David Malan 70, Haseem Hamid 68, Roddy Burns 61, and Craig Overton there getting some useful runs towards the fag end. He's doing what the Indian team did at Lords. Craig Overton there. Sam Curran first getting 15 runs, and then Craig Overton 24 not out so far. His wicket will be crucial there. And of course, there's James Anderson. He'll remember the bouncer barrage he faced at Lords. There's plenty. There's plenty. I feel because of the way this Indian team has been, especially under Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri, I still think you might see some sort of a fight back. They won't cave in as easily in the second innings. Can they make the most of days 3 and 4, put up a really tall score? And you never know. It's again looking at it strictly theoretically and mathematically. You scored those runs, and can they put England under pressure on the final day? I don't think this Indian batting lineup will now cave in as easily as they did in the first innings because conditions have definitely been a lot better for batting. And conditions are much better than what we saw at Headingley day one yesterday. Well, then, thank you so much for joining me. A pleasure bringing this to you. We'll, of course, come back with plenty more tomorrow on day three of this test match. Please do subscribe to Sports Today, and we'll see you very soon. Have a good day.